What if I told you that Gojo Satoru, one of the most powerful sorcerers in Jujutsu Kaisen, faces a fate that could change everything? You won't believe what happens in the finale. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the world of Jujutsu Kaisen to talk about none other than Gojo Satoru. He's not just any character, he's a powerhouse with some serious skills. With the series finale around the corner, the anticipation is through the roof. Fans are buzzing with theories about what could happen to our favorite teacher and sorcerer. So, let's get into it. Alright, let's talk about the challenges Gojo faces. As we know, Gojo has been dealing with some pretty intense threats throughout the series. The biggest one? The looming presence of Sukuna and the curses that are gathering power. With Gojo sealed away, his allies are left vulnerable, and the stakes have never been higher. His absence could lead to chaos among the Jujutsu sorcerers, and the consequences could be catastrophic. Plus, we've seen the toll that the battles have taken on his friends and students, like Yuji and Megumi. If Gojo can't find a way to break free and confront Sukuna, everything he's fought for is at risk. This whole situation sets the stage for a nail-biting finale. Let's talk about a brief history of Satoru Gojo. Satoru Gojo is the strongest sorcerer of the modern era in Jujutsu Kaisen. Born as the pride of the Gojo clan with the powerful combo of the Limitless plus the Six Eyes techniques. Limitless allows Gojo to manipulate reality and space at will, a potent ability best utilized by the Six Eyes. This trait lets users have ultra-precise control over their cursed energy. Gojo's potential was intense as the first sorcerer in 400 years with these two abilities. Though there are dozens more abilities Gojo has that make him the strongest. In Season 1, fans saw how powerful Gojo was, as he made both Sukuna and Jogo, two curses regarded as special grades, look embarrassing by comparison. Both curses were unable to touch him, let alone worry him. Gojo was so powerful that the main villains had to plan around him, never even facing him out of fear that he would kill them in seconds. Gojo's fighting abilities made him a threat to his foes, and all of his allies noted that, even with his freakish strength, Gojo seemed to enjoy battling more than anything. Gege Akutami confirmed in an interview that Gojo is happiest when he meets someone with talent as a Jujutsu sorcerer. In a questionnaire, Akutami answered a lot about some hidden aspects of Gojo's character. This aspect of Gojo's personality, his laid-back attitude, arrogant demeanor, and extensive pride in his strength, made many not want to be his friend, while others seemingly hated him. Now let's talk about the hidden inventory arc reveals how Gojo got strong. Season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen gave viewers a glimpse into Gojo's past as a Jujutsu student before he became known as the strongest. There, fans saw a more immature Satoru, whose bond with the now villain-turned-puppet, Suguru Geto, was formative to his growth. For many fans, this arc remains the best in the entire series. One of the highlights of this arc is when Gojo and Toji Fushiguro face off. For the first time, fans see Gojo lose a battle and are left on the brink of death by Toji. This moment is when Gojo finally awakens to the inner workings of curse energy, learning reverse curse technique and how to properly utilize both his Six Eyes and his Limitless to their full potential. This power-up, while making Gojo seemingly invincible, also leads to his isolation as the gap between him and Geto widens. Now let's talk about Gojo's role in the finale of JJK. In the finale of Jujutsu Kaisen, the main cast squares off against Sukuna, who has recovered almost all of his finger strength and taken over the body of Megumi Fushiguro, giving him a vessel that isn't as made to contain him as Yuji was. With Sukuna and Kenjaku's endgame of the merger on the horizon, the cast takes 1 month to train for the inevitable battle. Once the month was over, the fight began. The strongest sorcerer in history, Sukuna, versus the strongest sorcerer of today. Despite Gojo's overwhelming strength and the power of infinity on his side, Sukuna had the far better toolkit as he now possessed the ability to use Mahoraga. Because of Mahoraga's ability, Sukuna can access the information necessary to cut through Gojo's infinity. With one dismantle that happened off-screen and between chapters, Sukuna cleaves Gojo in half. Viewers then see, in chapter 236, Gojo in the afterlife, finally surrounded by those his strength isolated from him. Suguru Geto, Kento Nanami, Riko Amanai, and more. Gojo expresses that he had fun in the battle and died without regrets. He wishes above all else that the airport he and his friends are in isn't simply a dream, This chapter left many fans extremely upset for a myriad of reasons. While some were upset over Gojo dying in the first place, others were upset at how sudden the death was or how Gojo's afterlife scene felt oddly out of place. Many fans even questioned how the rest of the cast could expect to beat Sukuna without Satoru Gojo. Fans wondered for a while if Akutami was faking Gojo's demise and believed for the longest that the strongest would be brought back in some way to help aid his students. They got their wish, just not in the way they had hoped. Gojo returns to help Sukuna, not as Satoru Gojo, but as Yuta Okotsu, who copies Kenjaku's curse technique to swap his body into Gojo's. With this, Yuta can use Gojo's technique to clash domains against Sukuna and attempt to hit him with a hollow purple. However, this plan didn't go as expected. After 5 minutes, Gojo's body collapsed. During those 5 minutes, Yuta, who was already exceptionally strong, faced numerous challenges in using Gojo's body. Whether it was the size of his limbs or the utilization of 6 eyes and Limitless, Yuta struggled. Despite his efforts, he couldn't fully become Satoru Gojo. This was the answer to the question Sugurua had asked Gojo years ago. This existential question has surrounded Gojo's character since it was uttered in the Hidden Inventory arc, and now fans have their answer. Despite having Gojo's body, Gojo's techniques, and Gojo's memories, Yuta couldn't be the strongest as Gojo was. In the end, Satoru Gojo was strong because he was Satoru Gojo. He made his talents his own. The fight with Sukuna continues, and Gojo's body is presumably left on the battlefield until it is finished. Now let's talk about Gojo's dream and Gojo's death. At the end of Jujutsu Kaisen, it is confirmed that Satoru Gojo is dead. No binding vow, curse technique, or miracle would bring him back. At the end of the day, Gojo had passed on willingly and seemingly was happy about it. Though some were confused about how Gojo could pass without regrets, considering his students were fighting the one who managed to kill him. The final chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 271 from now on, shows that Gojo had already come to peace with the idea of losing because he had so much faith in his students that they'd finish the job. In Gojo's final scene, he has a conversation with Yuji, and he tells the series' protagonist to develop a strength far different from Gojo's and to carry on his dream. Gojo dreamed of changing Jujutsu society so the next generation wouldn't lose their lives. A defining trait for Satoru Gojo was his distaste for the conservative and stubborn higher-ups that control Jujutsu society. As long as they were around, kids like Yuji and Yuta would never get to live a whole life. Their world was cold to sorcerers, and Gojo wanted to change that. Even though he died before he got to see it actualized, he had faith that Yuji, of all people, would be able to carry this dream to fruition. This dream formed because of Gojo's failure during the Hidden Inventory arc, where he lost his best friend, and a young girl lost her life that had just started. Akutami even states that because of this moment, Gojo grew a will to nurture the next generation. Gojo may be truly dead, but his dream lives on through Yuji. The former cage of Sukuna is starting to create an environment where sorcerers feel nurtured rather than hunted. So, what does Gojo's fate mean for the future of Jujutsu Kaisen? His outcome will have a massive impact on the storyline and the characters we've come to love. If he survives, it could mean a new era of strength for the Jujutsu sorcerers, but if he falls, the consequences could be devastating. Either way, his fate is a turning point that will resonate throughout the series, affecting not just the characters but the fans as well. What do you think is going to happen to Gojo Satoru? Are you Team Gojo or Team Sukuna? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out our other content on Jujutsu Kaisen theories and character breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.